What's up, my LS crazed amigos? It's your boy Terry, speaking from the garage shop once again. Here to offer you some more big bang for the buck product and question answering tips. Did you hear me questioning? I gotta stop that. Anyways, how y'all guys doing? All right. The question of the day that I've been getting, I've been getting tons of these questions about the heat exchanger for the Supercharged, because we all know that the LSA is on the 69, on the 71 Chevelle, and it's going to need a heat exchanger. So I've been getting questions like, you know, I'm doing the same project, but I don't understand. I don't know which heat exchanger to use. How'd you pick your heat exchanger out? One guy actually saw the heat exchanger box in one of my videos, and he was like, "What is that? What heat exchanger are you using?" and everything. So I'm going to answer these questions right now. The heat exchanger that I'm using is the Afco Zl1 Heat Exchanger. This is the heat exchanger that Afco built to better the stock Zl1 heat exchanger that came on that car. All right, now this is a dual pass. It got both ends. It got the in and the out on one side, and I went with this because, first of all, you know, when you got to make these things fit. You can't go to a store and pretty much be like, okay, I need a heat exchanger for 71 Chevelle with an LY6, and I'm putting an LSA on it, and I need a heat exchanger that's going to fit. I must have gone through a couple of heat exchangers before I picked on this one, and I had to do some fabrication. I had to do some certain tweaking and stuff like that, which isn't that bad. So, you know, because you got to remember, GM never thought that some bright-eyed Muhammad Ali looking cat 40 some odd years later would be putting an LY6 fuel injected modular engine along with a supercharger on their 71 Chevelle back in 1970, 71, 72. They never thought about that. But now here we are, fast forward 2017, and people are doing that type of stuff. So you got to be prepared. You got to know that you're going to have to do some fabrication. Now, I got this thing to fit. Now, what I had to do is I had to do a series of things. I'm going to show you exactly what it was to get this to fit. So if you A-body guys, I'm not sure about Pinex. I know about 71 Chevelle, 72, so I think it's pretty much the same. But if you A-body guys, it could be the same. Check it out, because if you're trying to get this big heat exchanger, because this is a dual bypass, a dual cooling, so it's going to cool the supercharger very nicely without a fan, but it's a little tight. It's a little tight, but there's certain things that I had to do to make this thing fit, and I'm going to show you exactly what I had to do. Now, if you look, this is where I got the mounting tabs on both sides. All right. So now I'm going to have to drill a hole right here so the hoses can come through. One's going to go in here. It's going to come down and come out, and it's going to go back to the top of the brick, I guess you would call it, of the LSA. But I also had to trim. I don't know if you can see this. You see that right there? I had to trim this up a little. Made sure it didn't touch, so when you opened up the trunk, you don't have to worry about this scraping against one of the fins. You also want to make sure that this little latch, when you open the trunk, see this little latch right here? This goes back. And you want to make sure it doesn't hit up against this part of the heat exchanger. See? So we're okay here. Now, this is the brace that kind of goes, it goes like right here, and it's the support for this piece of the front of the car right here. All right, now what happens is I had to take this off, and this thing, what happens is, if you look, it kind of goes towards, it's wider here than up here. So it's probably about maybe like a ½ inch wider down at the bottom than it is up here. So what I had to do was I had to compensate. I had to trim, if you look. So I had to trim this thing. You got that? You see that? Had to trim this piece off so it will fit nice and won't rub up against the radiator. Or should I say the heat exchanger. See, now with it installed, you see now you have got about a good inch of space, whereas before it was touching. It's in there. So that's a little bit of fabrication that I had to do just to get the heat exchanger to work, and there's a lot more to it. But hopefully the GM gods are shining down on this bright-eyed Muhammad Ali looking cat that did the exchange and doing all these modifications to these cars, and hopefully helping you guys out, because that's what it's all about. It's really, like I said, It's not. It's all about sharing and caring and giving the knowledge. So if you want to copy this route, please feel free. And I hope it works out for you. I really do. But looking at the clock on the wall, or should I say ceiling, it's time for me to head on off and finish putting this thing together so I can report some more stuff to you because that's what it's all about. I really care about that. All right. So as always, please be easy, and I'll catch you cats a little later. Take care.